All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle something huge. How do you solve those really complex, wicked problems? But we're going to do it by looking at something that sounds almost silly, visualizing how to make a piece of toast. And I know, it sounds trivial, but trust me, it reveals some absolutely profound truths about how we can make sense of a complicated world. So, I want you to think for a second about a challenge you're facing. Could be a massive project at work, a tricky business strategy, maybe even a personal goal that just feels impossible. These are what we call wicked problems. They're messy, they've got a million moving parts, and there's no clear, easy solution. So where do you even begin? You start by drawing how you make toast. And no, I'm not kidding. This really simple design exercise, created by a guy named Tom Wojcik, is the key that unlocks our ability to see and solve those much bigger problems. It's an unexpectedly powerful tool, and we're about to find out exactly why. So, what on earth does breakfast have to do with business strategy? Well, it all boils down to a really powerful approach called systems thinking. It's basically a framework for understanding how things influence one another inside of a whole. Here's the core idea. Think about a single gear from a watch. On its own, sitting on a table, it's just a little piece of metal. But put it inside the watch, connect it to all the other parts, and suddenly, it's part of a system that tells time. The parts act differently when they're connected, right? Systems thinking is all about seeing and understanding those connections. And this quote from Peter Senge just nails it. It's about a shift in your perspective. Instead of just seeing a bunch of separate things, a toaster, bread, a person, you start to see the network, the relationships, the processes that connect everything together. It's about seeing the dance, not just the dancers. We can even break this down into a super simple idea. Now don't let the math scare you, it's easy. The final output of any process depends on all of its interconnected inputs. So your delicious toast, let's call that Y, is a function of a whole bunch of X's. The type of bread, the toaster settings, how long you toast it. Systems thinking is just the art of mapping out all those X's to understand Y. That's it. Okay, so let's see how this actually works in practice. We're going to break down the 3 distinct steps of this toast-making exercise, and you'll see how each one brilliantly reveals a whole new layer of understanding.
It's a really simple progression. First, you just draw the process all by yourself. Then, you do it again, but this time you use movable sticky notes. And finally, you do the whole thing as a group. Each step is designed to teach us something new.
When people do this alone, the results are just wild. They're so different. Most are simple, sure, but some people get scientific and focus on the bread browning. The engineers, of course, love to draw the toaster's mechanics. Others draw the whole human experience of enjoying breakfast. It's an amazing illustration of how we all have these different private mental models of how even the simplest process works.
But if you look closer, you see that even with all that variety, these drawings all share a common language. They all have nodes, which are basically the things, like bread or a toaster, and links, which are the connections between them. And together, these nodes and links create a systems model that literally makes our private thoughts visible for others to see.
And get this, after analyzing hundreds and hundreds of these drawings, a fascinating pattern emerged. The sweet spot, the ideal number of nodes for clear explanation, is somewhere between 5 and 13. Any less, and it's just too simple, it's trivial. But any more, and people get what they call map shock. You know, where your eyes just glaze over because it's too complex to take in.
Now, step 2. Using sticky notes. This is a total game changer. A drawing on paper is rigid, it's fixed, but with notes, you can move around. The whole process becomes fluid. You can easily add things, take them away, rearrange them. This creates what's called a rapid express reflex cycle. Basically, it makes it super easy to refine your ideas on the fly, and it leads to models with way more detail. And then, step 3. This is where the real magic happens. When you do this as a group, the complexity just explodes, but in a good way. The average number of nodes jumps from maybe 8 to over 20. And why? Because the group builds on each other's ideas. They integrate all these different points of view into one unified model that's just so much richer and more complete than anything one person could ever create alone.
So we've seen the toast exercise in action. It's kind of fun, right? But what does it actually have to do with all those formal systems thinking concepts? Let's connect the dots.
You know when the group combines all their individual sticky notes into that one big map? Well, in formal terms, what they're doing is called synthesis. They aren't just analyzing the pieces, they are actively combining them to create something totally new, a shared understanding of the entire system. And because of that synthesis, something incredible happens. You get emergence.
That unified group model, the one with 20+ nodes, that is a perfect example. A more intelligent, more comprehensive understanding of the process literally emerged from the group's interaction. The whole model is smarter than the sum of its individual parts.
This whole process also reveals the system's deep interconnectedness. An individual drawing might just show bread goes in the toaster. But the group map, it shows all the hidden links, like how getting the plate is connected to finding the butter, which is connected to grabbing a knife. It makes that whole web of dependencies visible to everyone.
And that brings us to the name for this whole process. It's called systems mapping. This entire exercise, from that first simple sketch to a collaborative wall of sticky notes, is a powerful and really accessible way to use visual tools to untangle and understand complexity.
Okay, this is a fantastic way to understand how to make breakfast. But what about those wicked problems we started with? How does this apply when the stakes are a little higher than just burnt toast?
We'll take the publishing company, Rodale. They were bleeding money, in serious trouble. So what did they do? The executive team locked themselves in a room for 3 days and did exactly this exercise. They mapped their entire business as one big system. The result was absolutely stunning. They reclaimed $50 million in revenue, and their customer rating shot up from a D to an A. Why? For the first time, everyone was aligned on a single shared picture of how their business actually worked.
And this is maybe the most important lesson of all. The final map on the wall, it's useful, for sure, but the real value is created during the process of building it. It's the conversations, the debates, the shared aha moments that lead to real alignment and clarity. The process is the product.
So how can you actually apply this? The method is incredibly simple. You just start with a clear question. You and your team get together and collect all the nodes, every component, every step, every stakeholder. Then you arrange and refine the model, and then you do it again and again. Through that repetition, the patterns emerge and clarity is achieved.
It's a simple, it's fun, and it's a powerful method for making our ideas visible and tangible. It helps us get clear, engaged, and aligned on our most difficult challenges. So that leaves just one final question for you. What wicked problem are you going to map out first?